The obligation isn't on you to prove you're essential to the government, to open up. Do you understand? Everything's backwards, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, people are standing up. We interviewed Jax Myers on yesterday's show, the owner of a tattoo shop, who was literally arrested and brought out of his shop in handcuffs for daring to open the door to his shop because he has to pay the rent and feed his kids. God forbid he did that. But yesterday, a woman by the name, and I want you to remember this name, a woman by the name of Shelley Luther in Texas. She owns a hair salon. She dared to open up her salon and was threatened repeatedly in Texas. In Texas. Listen, Governor Abbott, I'm a big fan. The governor of Texas, huge fan. I think you've been great. I've interviewed you a lot on Fox. What are you doing out there? Why are you allowing this to continue? You may say, okay, who's Shelley Luther and what does this mean? Before I get to the Flint stuff, Shelley Luther was arrested and is being sentenced to 7 days in jail and thousands of dollars in fines because her and her hairstylist are going broke and can't feed their kids because of these unconstitutional lockdowns. This is now, Shelley Luther, you have a spine of absolute titanium, steel. God bless this woman. This is her in court yesterday in front of the judge who tries to chastise her. You should be ashamed, judge. And he demands Shelley Luther apologize for daring to open up her business, and maybe this will all go away. And Shelley Luther says, double barrel middle finger, I ain't apologizing for squat. I didn't do anything wrong. I've got to feed my kids. Here is 45 seconds of Shelley Luther responding to this out of control, out of line judge and saying, not today, not today, not on my watch, and not today. If we only had people in Washington, D.C. who had half the guts of this patriot, play Shelley Luther.
Judge, I would like to say that I have much respect for this court and laws, and that I've never been in this position before, and it's not some place that I want to be, but I have to disagree with you, sir, when you say that I'm selfish, because feeding my kids is not selfish. I have hairstylists that are going hungry because they'd rather feed their kids. So, sir, if you think the law is more important than kids getting fed, then please go ahead with your decision, but I am not going to shut the salon.
Yes. God bless you. We need more of this. I've told you repeatedly on my show, it's time to dance. What do I mean dance? I don't mean Footloose Kevin Bacon style, folks. There's a video I was shown by another activist friend of mine in the conservative movement. She's been through a lot of fights. She showed me this video once. It was of a guy in a park. It's a real video. It's not a movie. It's not fiction. It's a real video. It's grainy, but it's old. I'd play it on the show, but honestly, it's an audio show first, and there's nothing really to hear. But it's a guy in a park, and it's grainy, and he gets up and starts dancing, and the dance is kind of crazy. Nobody even knows what kind of dance he's doing, but it's nuts. He gets up. At first, people laugh at him. Goes on for a minute or two. And after about 2 minutes, the laughing dies down a little bit, but a guy gets up and starts dancing with him. All of a sudden, a third person gets up, and then a fourth, and then a 10th, and then a 20th. And then the whole park of hundreds of people are dancing with this guy. It's a real video. The video is about a lot of things. Social psychology, sociology, group dynamics, leadership. It's about a lot of things. But I mentioned this video a long time ago on my show. It's one of my most listened to shows ever. I think it's called It's Time to Dance. I'm not really sure. But there's one valuable point you should always take away from that video. It's not the guy who gets up and dances first that's really going to change things. It's the one who follows. It's the first person to get up and join the dance that says to the rest of the crowd, we're not going to let them stand alone. Ladies and gentlemen, don't let Shelley Luther stand alone. Listen, man, I'm not messing with you. It's time to help Shelley Luther. Now you may say how. That's a fair question. We have to get behind these people. Don't let them dance alone. There are a number of different ways we can help. If you live in Texas, anywhere in Texas, Greg Abbott's your governor. He's a good man, but he works for you. I need you. Please, I don't live in Texas, or I'd be doing it myself. I'm using my show as a vehicle to help this woman. That's the best I can. I'm a Florida resident. My vote doesn't matter for Greg Abbott. It may if he runs for president. His office should be bombarded. You should get a busy signal for 7-8 straight hours today with phone calls. Shelley Luther should be pardoned immediately and these fines wiped out. So apparently in the Dallas area, I'm also asking you to help Shelley Luther's business out. Again, we're trying our best, ladies and gentlemen. We can't help everyone. But if we're just that first person, that first guy who gets up and doesn't let Shelley Luther or Jax Myers or others dance alone, we can save this place. It's worth saving. We've been in far darker times before. Think about it. We got hammered by the Great Depression and then World War II back to back. Hundreds of thousands of young Americans dead fighting the Nazis and their fascist takeover of what was going to be the entire globe if we didn't stop them. We've been in darker places before. I'm not here to lie to you, though. We're in a really dark place now. But the way to stop it is we're all going to have to take something on the chin here. I left my job a long time ago. A secure pension and a job, candidly, I loved a lot in the Secret Service. It hurt. We almost went bankrupt. That's not a joke. The darkest day was when my daughter needed braces and we couldn't even pay the orthodontist because we had no money left. We need to get up and not let Shelley dance alone. Don't let any of these people dance alone. Flood the phone lines in your state if you're not in Texas. If you're in Florida, if you're in New York, flood the phone lines of every city council member, every mayor, every governor, every delegate, every rep, every state senator. Flood their phone lines and ask them why they are prosecuting innocent Americans for trying to feed their kids. Post their office numbers on Facebook. You are obligated to call them. We're not leftists. We're not the violent ones. That's a leftist thing. But you have the right and the obligation now as a freedom-loving, flag-waving American patriot who loves this country and whose ancestors have handed you down the greatest constitutional republic in the history of humankind. You have an obligation to honor their memory and fight this fight now. If this is allowed to persist, people like Shelley Luther will be all of us tomorrow. Remember what Bonhoeffer said. To not speak is to speak. And to refuse to act is to act.
You just heard The Dan Bongino Show. You can also get Dan's podcasts on iTunes or SoundCloud. And follow Dan on Twitter 24/7 @DBongino.